You know what a split screen is in television? You see two things happening at once. And there is going to be a very interesting split screen in the city of New York today. It will become one of the defining moments of campaign 2024. Joseph Robinette Biden, President of the United States, will be in Manhattan for a fundraiser. It'll be at Rockefeller Center. It will be with Bill Clinton. It will be with Barack Obama. It is expected to raise $25 million to fund Joe Biden's presidential campaign for 2024. All the good liberals in America are going to show up for Joe Biden's fundraiser this afternoon in New York City, in Manhattan. While Joe Biden is fundraising in Manhattan, tying up traffic in Midtown, Donald John Trump, former president of the United States, will be tying up traffic on Long Island. Joe Biden is going to a fundraiser. Donald Trump is going to a funeral. It's the funeral for Jonathan Diller. Jonathan Diller was 31 years old. He was a police officer, murdered in New York. The family invited Donald Trump. It's a visitation, not a funeral. The family invited Donald Trump. The local police invited Donald Trump. They want to highlight what's happening to police officers in New York. And it is a real big contrast between Joe Biden and the libs fundraising in Manhattan and Donald Trump being invited by police officers and a family to come to a visitation of a dead 31-year-old police officer who leaves behind a wife and 1-year-old child who was murdered while on duty, the first New York City police officer murdered in the line of duty in 2 years. And you know what the most galling part of this is? The man who shot and killed Jonathan Diller had 21 prior arrests, not charges, arrests. He had been arrested for first-degree robbery, arrested for illegal gun possession, arrested for selling drugs to undercover police officers, 2 felony assaults, possession of a controlled substance, paroled in 2021. Diller was wearing a protective vest. The man in the car shot him. It went underneath the vest into his torso. He died. So the guy who shot him, the repeat felon, 34-year-old Guy Rivera, who is in stable but critical condition at a hospital after Dillard's partner shot Rivera in the head. Rivera was in a passenger seat. They were parked at a bus stop. They were illegally parked and appeared suspicious. Diller ordered Guy Rivera to get out of the police car. Rivera refused to step out of the car, pulled a gun, and shot and killed Diller. And you know, the family of the murderer, alleged, the family of the murderer says, well, he had been arrested so many times, he was scared of police officers. Aw, poor baby. He had been in jail repeatedly, 21 prior arrests. How was he still on the street? But you know, this is the thing in New York City. There is an increased number of criminal activities in New York. And you know, New York is bragging about the reduction in crime. Do you know why crime is falling in New York? Yes, it's true. Some areas of crime actually are reducing. But do you know the number one reason crime is going down in New York City is people are no longer reporting it because they know nothing will happen. Even the police acknowledge that people aren't reporting, particularly misdemeanor crimes, because no one's going to do anything about it. It's an incredible juxtaposition of what's going on. Listen to this report on the news in New York
What else can you do?
You can do this, Bill. Look, this was $3.47 at Home Depot. It is a no trespassing sign. You could put this up in your front door, on your property line, somewhere where you can see it from the street. But this is the catch. Take a time-stamped picture of the sign. Most iPhones do this automatically because what you want to prove to police is that the sign was up before the squatters moved in. You know what I mean? So you have to show that time and date stamp. That's also why video security is so important. You can show they broke in, entered illegally, and then you have helped take away their squatter rights.
Squatter rights. Why the hell do we have squatter rights at all in this country? Literally, the Eyewitness News, ABC 7 in New York is telling people, put up a no trespassing sign and document that you had it up when the house was empty. So when the squatters come, you can say there's a no trespassing sign. You should not have to have a no trespassing sign on your property. People should know not to come there. And the fact that New York News is telling you, you got to do this, otherwise you might generate squatter rights, is part of the problem in this country. Joe Biden is going to be with a bunch of liberals in New York City, glad-handing, yucking it up. Donald Trump is going to be a dead man's visitation, and that dead man is a police officer that a bad guy shot and killed, and that bad guy should have been in prison, but he wasn't because of the progressive policies that Joe Biden perpetuates. It's not just that. This happened in Dothan, Alabama.
This morning, an illegal immigrant man is behind bars accused of raping a mentally incapacitated teen. Enterprise police arrested Pablo Mendoza after getting word of a crime happening last month. Sheriff Scott Byrd confirmed to WDHN that Mendoza is in the United States illegally. Authorities say that Mendoza had sex with the teen, and the teen could not consent due to her being, quote, physically helpless or mentally incapacitated. Mendoza is charged with the rape in the first degree and is currently being held in the Coffee County Jail without bond.
What about Laken Riley? Murdered in Athens, Georgia. Again, Donald Trump met her family. Joe Biden can't even say her name right. What a juxtaposition between the two. What a juxtaposition between the two. This is why Donald Trump continues leading in polls nationwide, by the way, particularly in swing states. This is the sort of stuff why. He's going to meet the families of fallen police officers. Joe Biden's going to hang out with the people who want to defund the police and give Joe Biden money to prop up those policies. Donald Trump is willing to visit with Laken Riley's family. Joe Biden is willing to apologize for calling her murderer an illegal alien instead of undocumented. These things matter. These things are telling. I have a growing number of illegal aliens in this country who are murdering Americans, who are raping Americans, who are stealing, who are causing crimes, who are bringing non-American gang violence into the United States and growing non-American gang crime syndicates in this country. And the president says, well, he's helpless to do anything. He can't do anything. It really is a striking juxtaposition. So all the Democrats have right now is abortion. You know, outside of Huntsville, Alabama, Madison, Alabama, there's a state house race there for the state legislature, not Congress, state house. A Democrat who got blown up last time won this time. And all she did was campaign on IVF and abortion. IVF and abortion. Of course, the media's like, oh my gosh, the GOP, they're going to get wiped out because of abortion and IVF. That's what we're going to play. It's going to go overtime. The Democrats and the media, all we're going to hear from them, particularly from NBC News, is abortion, 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 abortion. They're not going to talk about the squatters in America. They're not going to talk about the crime in America. What the Republicans need to do is they need to talk about the crime. They need to talk about the illegal immigrants. They need to do what Donald Trump is doing, and the visuals override the talking points. Going to visit the family of a murdered police officer matters greatly. It overcomes the narrative as the Democrats try to tell you the biggest thing in America is whether or not you can kill your kid. Meanwhile, illegal aliens are killing your kids, and the Democrats do not care about it. Joe Biden is more concerned with apologizing for saying illegal instead of undocumented. He got Laken Riley's name wrong in the State of the Union and couldn't even apologize for mispronouncing her name. It's a massive issue. It is a disconnect with reality for the Democrats right now. It's a major disconnect with reality for the Democrats right now. Down in Florida, Ron DeSantis has passed legislation through the legislature. He's signing it into law, getting rid of so-called squatters' rights. You know, by the way, DeSantis won the big Disney case yesterday. Remember how everyone told you that he wasn't going to win, that it was ridiculous, what a waste of his time. Disney caved. There's been a settlement. DeSantis got everything he wanted out of it. Guy keeps putting points on the board. The squatters issue, it's come up here where I am in Georgia and around the country. Had an illegal alien last week on TikTok advising illegal aliens how to take over people's homes and declare themselves squatters and have rights in progressive enclaves in this country. They can get away with it. They can't get away with it in conservative areas of the country. And a backlash is coming. The Democrats are so focused on abortion. It's all they have is scaring women and some men into voting for Joe Biden over abortion rights in this country. And the GOP honestly does need to figure out a message, but what they need to do is speak more loudly on these issues. Jonathan Diller is dead because a man who was arrested 21 times got a revolving door from prison instead of being locked up for the rest of his life behind bars. Laken Riley is dead because of an illegal alien coming into this country under the Biden administration, constantly being let out of jail by progressives, was able to murder her. This guy in Alabama, Pablo Mendoza, able to rape an incapacitated girl. There's been a murder in Alabama as well. There's been a murder in Tennessee. There's been a murder in Texas, all illegal aliens. And the best the Democrats can do is, well, actually, the legal people are more prone to murder. Well, let's worry about the legal ones. We shouldn't have to worry about the illegal ones. Crime matters. And in New York today, the American public is going to be treated to one heck of a split screen. The former president of the United States spending compassionate time with the widow and 1-year-old child of a murdered police officer, while Joe Biden hangs out with progressives who like to defund the police and raises money from them in Manhattan. These optics matter.
Want to be on the show?
Hello?